Now, you've already seen the title of the video, and I'm sure a lot of you guys might be wondering, why am I comparing this phone, the Nothing phone, to a phone that's almost double of its price tag, the iPhone 12? And well, it's a very interesting comparison because a lot of folks want to buy an iPhone device, but they want an iPhone device with Android running inside them. I know that might sound stupid, but trust me, there are so many people out there who just like iPhones for the design language, for just the comfort that the device brings, and of course the brand value, but they just can't seem to move away from Android. Now, if you are one of those users, the Nothing Phone 1 offers, well, a quite similar design to the iPhone 12 and a lot more unique features for half the price tag. The question is, should you pick the Nothing Phone 1 over the iPhone 12, or does the iPhone 12 still manage to make a good case for itself? Let's find out. This is Varun from GTR and you're watching my in-depth comparison of the, yeah bro, we all see, of the Nothing Phone 1 with the iPhone 12. Let's get started. Alright, so first things first, like I said, let's just start by talking about the design here. Now, right off the bat, the iPhone 12 is the smaller device out of the two, which easily makes it, well, better to hold in your hand. I mean, the ease of use that comes with an iPhone 12 because of that form factor is really amazing. Now, that is not to say that the Nothing Phone 1 is bad or feels uncomfortable in your hand, but the experience will vary from user to user. For instance, I have large hands, and for me, the Nothing Phone 1 feels very comfortable, especially with the flat edges. I mean, I'll reiterate, I am not a fan of flat edges per se, but yeah, it does feel nice on the Nothing Phone 1, especially for someone who has large hands like me. However, there are team members in our office who found it to be a little bit wider as compared to most Android devices out there in the market. Now, the iPhone 12 obviously carries the signature Apple look that, well, the company has been putting on their devices for quite some time now. It's a good look and of course works well for them. And despite the Nothing Phone 1 trying to copy the flat edges, the iPhone 12 still manages to keep hold of its signature value. On the other hand, the Nothing Phone 1 has definitely gone with a unique way thanks to the glyph interface here. It's basically LED notification lights on the back plate with a glass panel on top of it, which definitely looks good and obviously comes in handy as well if you just, resting the phone on the table and just want to get notified for whenever a new message comes on your device. Now, that is an interesting factor. The reason why I say that is this is something that you can flaunt as a device, while this is something that you can flaunt just the logo of. Of course, that logo holds a lot of value, so there's that as well. But yeah, I mean, of course, the Nothing Phone 1 definitely looks unique, even though it copies a lot of elements from the iPhone 12. Alright, now in terms of device protection, the Nothing Phone 1 is IP53 certified, whereas the iPhone 12 comes with a better IP68 dust and water resistance. In terms of weight, the iPhone 12 weighs just 164 grams, while the Nothing Phone 1 definitely weighs a lot more at closer to 194 grams. So yeah, on the whole, if I have to summarize in terms of the design element, they both look good. They both have their own selling points in terms of the design. And if you want a more compact and ergonomic device, definitely the iPhone 12 is the better choice. But if you want a device that you can flash and if you have large hands, the Nothing Phone 1 is still pretty good. However, while we're on the topic of design, there is one thing that I would like to stress on, which is the fact that we have seen plenty of quality control issues with the Nothing Phone 1. Now, credit where it's due, the company has been quick to respond to all of them and they have been shipping out replacement units faster than the first order for many people. And that's good on the company's behalf. But then these kind of issues should not be happening in the first place, especially when you're trying to make a name for yourself in the market with your first phone. So yeah, the QC part of this phone is something that could have been worked on. And it's not something that can be fixed with a software update. It's a hardware level defect and yeah, I mean, nothing needs to work on that. Alright, so moving along, let's talk about the display. Now, the Nothing Phone comes with a 6.55-inch Full HD Plus 10-bit OLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate. On the other hand, the iPhone 12 offers a smaller 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel with a lower 60Hz refresh rate. Now, the good part here is that both the phones support HDR10 Plus and Widevine L1. However, the iPhone 12 definitely takes it up a notch thanks to its support for Dolby Vision, on its wide color gamut True Tone display. And along with that, the iPhone 12 also supports DCI-P3, which is great for content creators as well as the occasional consumers. Now, in terms of outdoor usage, both the devices have a peak brightness of 1200 nits, and honestly, I had no issues using either device outdoors. I mean, the sheer fact that this thing comes with a 120Hz refresh rate in itself makes the device super smooth. Sure, you can talk about iOS's animations being amazing and fluid and blah blah blah, but at the end of the day, refresh rate of the Nothing Phone 1 is, well, it's double of the iPhone 12, and it definitely shows. Now, to enhance the content consumption on these phones, both the devices come with a dual stereo setup. Although the iPhone 12 has a slightly better sounding stereo speakers, thanks to it being a little bit louder, it's not to say that the Nothing Phone 1 is far behind. Next up, let's talk about the dual camera setup on both the devices. Yes, the Nothing Phone 1 is one of those rare Android devices that, despite being launched in 2022, comes with just two lenses, so that's good. But how does it fare against the iPhone 12? Well, on paper, the specs are on your screen, and it definitely feels that the Nothing Phone 1 has the better camera setup. But as we've seen for a very long time, when it comes to smartphone photography, hardware in itself is never going to be enough. It's always a mixture of hardware with software, and well, iPhone has been, well, holding the throne for quite some time. So how does the Nothing Phone 1 compare against it? Now, before I actually get into the photos, let me just start by talking about the fact that the Nothing Phone 1 is running the latest version, and the reason why that's important is because when this phone was launched, the ultra-wide camera on this was utter garbage, but Nothing did listen to the consumers and reviewers like us, and they have actually rolled out a couple of updates to fix the ultra-wide camera. Now, with that clear, let's talk about the camera comparison. So in terms of daylight shots, both the phones produce great results individually, and even when compared to one another, the Nothing Phone 1 does impress in some scenarios. Now, the iPhone 12 tends to click shots that are more natural and realistic with a slight curve towards warmer tones. On the other hand, the Nothing Phone 1 chooses to click closer to real shots, but when compared to the iPhone 12, had a few cooler tones toward the images. In terms of HDR, both the phones aim for top-notch results. The iPhone 12 and the Phone 1 in our testing took some extremely good HDR shots, as you can see on your screen. However, on closer inspection, you will also notice that the iPhone 12's wider image is sharper than the Nothing Phone 1. Another thing to note here is that when comparing both the shots, the Nothing Phone 1 produces a bit more of contrast in its images in certain scenarios when compared to the iPhone 12. With that being said, thanks to having a better pixel count than the iPhone 12, the Nothing Phone 1's shots have good clarity and sharpness and also retain the details better than the iPhone 12 in most scenarios. In terms of selfies, sure, the Phone 1 has a lot of technologies for its favor, but at the end of the day, I would still argue that the iPhone 12's 12MP selfies are almost excellent when it comes to details and contrast, with a good balance of colors and noise reduction. And while the Nothing Phone 1 does a great job, I think I would still lean a bit towards the iPhone 12. Moving on to low light images, in some shots, they do produce quite similar shots, but in some other areas, you can find the saturation or the vibrance on the Nothing Phone 1's shots, whereas the images clicked by the iPhone 12 are quite natural. Now, of course, there is noise present on both the images, but I would argue that the Nothing Phone 1's night mode does a slightly better job as compared to the iPhone 12. Alright, so moving along, let's talk about the performance. Now, sure, I'll throw some benchmark numbers on your screen, and of course, without a doubt, the iPhone 12 stands out as the clear winner here. But the question that you need to understand is that, I mean, we can't really be comparing head-on performance between these two processors anyway. What I can compare is the day-to-day performance. And the day-to-day performance, the Nothing Phone 1 hasn't disappointed me so far. In fact, the Nothing Phone 1 has, well, I would argue the best RAM management on any Android device that I've tested in the last 1.5 years. And that is saying something, because obviously I've tested all of the devices that launched. But the RAM management on the Nothing Phone 1 has been by far excellent. I mean, no complaints whatsoever. In terms of performance, of course, it's not a flagship processor, so the 778 Plus does feel a bit of a letdown, even if you are coming from a flagship Android device. So when you compare it with the iPhone 12, of course, the iPhone feels far more snappier, apps launch faster, and of course, switching between apps is also better. But yeah, I mean, for a majority of the users, if they haven't ever experienced a flagship device, like not just saying iPhone 12, if they haven't even experienced a flagship Android device, the Nothing Phone 1 will still feel pretty damn good. Lastly, we have the battery life. Now, the iPhone 12 comes with a small 2815 mAh battery with support for 20 watts of fast charging and 15 watts of wireless MagSafe charging. On the other hand, the Nothing Phone 1 comes with a huge 4500 mAh battery with support for 33 watts of wired charging, 15 watts of wireless charging, and also has support for 5 watts reverse wireless charging. Now, when we talk about battery life, sure, the iPhone 12 has a good battery backup. I mean, when it was launched, the iPhone 12 was one of the best iPhones that you could buy for a good battery backup. But of course, it does not hold a candle to the Nothing Phone 1. Despite having a 4500 mAh battery, the Snapdragon 778 Plus is a very power efficient chipset, and the Nothing Phone 1 will easily last you a day and a half of medium to heavy usage, while the iPhone will basically be close to death at the end of the first day. So yeah, that's the basic difference. Another point for the Nothing Phone 1 here is, of course, in terms of charging. So not only do you get faster charging here, the wireless charging also is faster technically because that is Qi charging. Whereas to get those 15 watts of wireless charging on the iPhone 12, you would have to restrict yourself to a MagSafe charger, or otherwise you'll just be wirelessly charging it at just 7.5 watts. Alright, so which phone to pick? The iPhone 12 or the Nothing Phone 1? Well, let's get a couple of things right off the chest. The iPhone 12 is not the latest iPhone, sure. The Nothing Phone 1 is definitely not the best phone that you can buy in that price segment. There are flagship devices available for cheaper. So yeah, there is that point as well. The whole idea of comparing these two devices is because they both claim to offer one single thing, which is a great user experience. And that is where the problem lies actually. See, the Nothing Phone 1 has a good design, has unique elements, has a very capable camera, has a great software experience. I know I did not delve a lot into the Android versus iOS debate because, let's be honest, there's no end to it. It's a personal preference. But yeah, the Android experience on the Nothing Phone 1 is as good as it gets. The battery life is better than the iPhone 12. The charging is better. But if you're going to come out and say that the Nothing Phone 1 offers a great experience, and if you are trying to compare it with the iPhone's experience, I think you really need to first work on your quality control issues. The kind of bugs that we faced on the Nothing Phone 1, like I said, it's not extraordinary because we've seen Android devices have those bugs. But then don't go around claiming that it's a completely unique experience, a completely seamless, lag-free. Okay, it's lag-free, but it's not bug-free. With all of that being said, of course, the Nothing Phone 1 is half the price. I would probably hold out for a bit just to ensure that all of those QC issues are fixed in all of the newer variants that are coming up, the new stock that comes up, and new software updates also patch things out. But other than that, I don't think I have any issues in recommending the Nothing Phone 1 to anyone. With that being said, the whole idea was to see whether the iPhone 12 manages to justify its price tag. And in my honest opinion, it clearly does. Say whatever you want to about Apple as a brand, and whether you have a personal bias towards it or whether you have a personal hatred towards it or not. At the end of the day, there are some things that Apple just does right. Ergonomics, looks, brand value, experience. Some things are just very well associated with Apple, and the iPhone 12 still manages to continue with that legacy. And well, that was it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome tech content. Till then, this is Varun from GTR, and I'll see you in the next one.